everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a foundation battle between the new KVD Good Apple Serum Foundation and then the OG Good Apple Balm. So I had never tried either of these, even this one when it went viral. I had purchased it, but I never got the chance to try it. So that's what I'll be doing today, putting these both up against each other. I'll be going over the details of these foundations, just their similarity versus their differences. I'll also be inserting in some clips going over the application of when I tried both of these foundations. I've been testing them for about a week now, so I've really just gathered my thoughts on how I prefer to wear it, inserting in some swatches for reference, and then going over my final thoughts. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, and with all that, let's just get started talking about the details of these foundations. First things first, I am wearing both of these foundations on my face. So I have the balm on this side and then I have the serum on this side. So just when I'm inserting in clips and stuff, I will always keep it that way just for consistency purposes. But the balm retails for $42.50 and it has 0.35 ounces of product. The serum retails for $42. I don't know why there's a 50-cent difference. I'm getting my information from the KVD website, and this has your standard 1 fluid ounce. So technically this one is more expensive if you're going to do a cost breakdown. However, because it's a balm, I do think you can get away with needing less of this. And then both of these do have 40 shades each. Now, it does seem like they're consistent across the board, but it does say to start with your Good Apple shade, the balm shade, and then adjust if needed with the serum foundation. The serum you can see in the bottle here. So I picked up the shade Light 21, and in the Good Apple, I picked up the shade 18. You can really just see the difference. This foundation is one step higher than this one, and really what you can just see right off the bat is the undertone. This is supposed to be a cool undertone. Personally, I would reference it as a neutral undertone, and then this one is a very, very warm tone. I really just wanted to compare some shades, so I do think Light 18 suits me more because of the undertone, if anything. Now, some of the similarities between these foundations, they both claim to have a full lightweight coverage. They're both supposed to give a natural finish. Now, where they differ is for skin type. It does say that the balm is best for normal leaning dry skin, which is my skin type. And then the serum is meant more for normal leaning oily skin types. So really just talking about these two, that's the biggest difference that I see. It does also say for the balm, the benefits are mostly it's supposed to hydrate as well as blur pores. The serum is supposed to be really transfer proof as well as blurring pores. So they both should have that pore blurring properties. One just hydrates, one is more transfer proof. And then for application, it does suggest for the balm to use a brush and then for the serum to use a sponge. So that's just really quick the bullet points on these foundations. I first want to insert in some swatches comparing the two shades that I have against each other. I also actually have shade 12 in this foundation, so I'll be comparing those 3 shades against each other, and then also just inserting in some other really popular foundations. So if you're around my skin tone, you can see where those fall in line with that. And then after the swatches, I will be back talking about how my wear test went for both of these foundations. Now that you've seen some swatches, let's just go over my wear test for both of these foundations. These are my first impressions of this foundation. As I mentioned though, I have worn these each more than once to really just get my final thoughts. But initially I do a full 8 to 10 hour wear test. I'm going to be showing me applying that foundation. So I'm going to throw up that clip now. And for both of these foundations, right off the bat, they were instantly full coverage. I was expecting that. I think that that's what this foundation is known for. So they are very full coverage. Where I started to notice the difference though was with the serum. It just looked more like a powder finish versus the balm looking a lot more hydrating. However, I still saw some powderiness with the balm just around my nose. It looked a little cakey, and I didn't set either of these foundations. I really just wanted to let them do their own thing. I applied the rest of my makeup, went on throughout the rest of my day, and then I did my 4-hour check-in. Now, my 4-hour check-in, I do outside in natural daylight. I can't really control the weather on those days since I'm testing these on different days. Some days it's a little bit windy. I think it was really windy for one of these, and the other day it was cold. It's just starting to warm up here. But back to the check-in. Both of these foundations I liked better at the 4-hour check-in versus when I applied them. For the Serum foundation, I noticed that my oils were really starting to come through. It was looking a lot less powdery and more natural looking. It was still very full coverage, and it didn't move around at all. Now, with the balm, I noticed my natural oils coming through, and instead of it being less powdery like the Serum, it was just becoming more shiny. I think that that was to be expected, being that it's a balm formula, and I did have a lot of product really gathering around my glasses. I don't always get that, but with the balm specifically, I noticed it was really just collecting around my glasses. If you don't wear glasses, you are perfectly fine, but I was noticing that for me, and it was an issue. And then going into my end of day, I had been wearing this for about 8 to 10 hours, like I mentioned. The balm was just looking even more shiny, but not unmanageable. It was okay. It was very limit for me on how shiny it was. The wear down was really nice. You could see that it wasn't as full coverage as when I applied it, but there was still coverage there, and it wasn't looking splotchy. It was wearing down very naturally. And I noticed that my pores looked pretty decent, but my texture was enhanced. It wasn't the best looking texture, but still manageable for an 8-hour wear test. The Serum, however, it went back almost backwards in time to looking powdery like when I applied it. I didn't think that it looked natural. I really noticed it emphasizing my pores instead of blurring my pores. I didn't notice any significant wear down. It looked exactly like how when I applied it, so I would agree that it is transfer proof. It just looked more powdery, and it just looked more enhanced in my pores. My pores did not look good. I was not appreciating that. So overall, just on first impressions, I was really favoring the balm over the Serum. But now that I've gone over just a quick little recap of how my first impressions went, I now want to go into my final thoughts and just talk a little bit more about these foundations and give a more in-depth thought process on how and who I think these foundations would be best for. So final thoughts on these two foundations here. You know, I just fall into the category where the balm foundation suits my skin type more. The only downside to this is I love how transfer resistant this foundation is. It really does hold up to the claim that it's transfer proof, sweat proof, humidity proof, etc. I noticed how transfer proof this foundation was, and I was really impressed by it. So that's the only thing about this. I just wish these two could kind of have a baby. I could maybe try and test out mixing them and just seeing how that works, but it's kind of tough when this is a balm. I just wish that this didn't look so slippy slidey at the end of the day. Because of its hydrating claims, it really does kind of fall at the end of the day and doesn't hold that coverage. Personally, I prefer a more light to medium coverage. It is not often that I'm going to be reaching for a full coverage option. So when I am, I do want like a full coverage option that's going to last throughout the day. Because I fall right in the middle, I have normal, somewhat leaning dry skin. I kind of thought both of these would work out for me, but this foundation just, it looks way too powdery. I did try to really just prep my skin with hydration. I even tried to wear a sheet mask before applying this. I'm not really able to get that powdery look to go away, even setting it with setting spray. It's just not working for me. So if you have normal leaning dry skin like myself and you're able to make this Serum foundation work, I'd love to hear in the comments below how you're making it work. But I think that KVD did a really good job on their Instagram especially, and on their website talking about the differences of this foundation. They don't claim that this foundation is meant for everyone. They claim that it's meant for different skin types. I think it was really smart of them to take a foundation that only worked for so many people and then take the exact same formula and twist it to make it work for the other half. Great marketing on their part, but you really have to listen to them because I think that they give accurate information on their website. You don't always see that, but it is very accurate. Applying this with a sponge is the best way, in my opinion. Applying this with a brush is the best application method for this one. I think everything that they put on their website, you can actually trust and follow. That does not happen very often with a brand. So I'm very appreciative for that. Now, as far as keeping this, I'm just debating back and forth. I will probably be putting this in my drawer that I only use for swatch and comparison purposes because I just can't see myself reaching for this. I can see myself reaching for this more often than not, even though, you know, it is full coverage. It does have a natural finish. They both have a natural finish. I will say for full coverage, it's not too heavy cake up. I will say for a full coverage foundation, it doesn't look heavy and cakey. It really does hold up to the claim that it's natural. This one is just fitting me so much more. I think I got into the hype of like, oh, this is so much newer. I need to try it, even though it wasn't meant for me. So just remember that if you're looking at reviews now and you don't have oily skin, this is an easy passable foundation. Just go back to this one, test it out again, remember why you fell in love with it, and maybe just wait for a different foundation that's gonna suit your skin type more. Something I also just really like about the balm while I have it in the forefront of my mind is this is a lot easier to travel with versus this. This is a very nice glass bottle. However, not really as travel friendly as this. You can just grab this with your brush and that's it. I don't even think you'd need concealer if you really didn't want to. So I really like that about this one. For me, having this be a foundation battle, the balm is just the clear winner over the serum. I think that they did a great job. I think this definitely has a place in their line and it's going to make a lot of people really happy who didn't like this foundation, but I think that you can't get better than the original. That is just my thoughts and opinions on these two foundations though. You'll have to let me know in the comments. Did you pick up both of these? Did you try them against each other? Which one works best for you? Let me know down below, but that's where I'm gonna leave you all. Hopefully these swatches were helpful. This video was informative and I will see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.